Think about your day. How often do you find yourself wanting something more? It's a common human experience. This feeling of wanting, this sense of something missing, can follow us around like a shadow. We achieve a goal, and for a little while, we feel happy. But then, quite quickly, that feeling fades. We start looking for the next thing to make us feel complete. This cycle can go on and on. Many wisdom traditions offer insights into why this happens. One such tradition, with its emphasis on understanding the nature of our minds, provides valuable guidance on breaking free from this cycle of dissatisfaction. In this video, we will look at some common reasons why lasting contentment often seems out of reach. And more importantly, we will explore ways to cultivate a deeper sense of peace and satisfaction in our lives. Humans quickly adapt to positive changes. Imagine getting a new phone. You might feel incredibly excited and happy for the first few days, even weeks. You enjoy all the new features, the speed, and the sleek design. But after a while, this new phone simply becomes your phone. The initial excitement fades. It becomes the new normal. This is how our minds work. We quickly get used to positive changes in our lives. This isn't a bad thing. It's a natural human tendency. It helps us adapt to our environment. However, this adaptability also means that the happiness we get from new things or positive changes is often short-lived. Once we adapt, we start looking for the next upgrade, the next new experience, thinking that will finally bring lasting happiness. This constant chasing keeps us on a treadmill of wanting more. The key insight here is to recognize this tendency. Understand that the initial joy from something new will likely fade. Instead of constantly seeking external changes to feel happy, we can start to appreciate the present moment, even with the things we already have. We can learn to find joy in the simple things that are already part of our lives, rather than always looking for the next big thing to bring us satisfaction. This shift in perspective can be a powerful step towards feeling more content. They constantly compare themselves to others. Think about scrolling through social media. You see pictures of friends on exotic vacations, celebrating achievements, or showing off new possessions. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing your life to theirs. You might start to feel like you're missing out, that your life isn't as exciting or successful. This constant comparison with others is a significant source of dissatisfaction. There will always be someone who seems to have more, achieve more, or experience more. This external comparison game is a never-ending cycle because the benchmark keeps shifting. What seems like a lot today might seem ordinary tomorrow when you see someone else with even more. The wisdom here is to shift our focus from external comparisons to internal growth. Instead of looking at what others have, we can focus on our own journey, our own progress, and our own values. Are we becoming a better version of ourselves? Are we living in alignment with what truly matters to us? True satisfaction comes from within, from knowing that we are living a meaningful life according to our own standards, not someone else's. Celebrate your own small victories and appreciate your unique path. Comparing ourselves to others often leads to feelings of inadequacy and envy, which directly undermine our sense of contentment. Material possessions often provide fleeting joy. We live in a world that often tells us that buying more things will make us happier. Advertisements constantly bombard us with messages about the latest gadgets, the most fashionable clothes, or the biggest houses. And for a little while, When we acquire these things, we might feel a sense of excitement and pleasure. However, this joy is often short-lived. Like the new phone, these material possessions eventually become ordinary. We get used to them, and the initial thrill fades. Then, the desire for something newer or better creeps in. This is because material possessions provide external happiness, which is inherently temporary. They don't address our deeper needs for connection, purpose, or inner peace. The wisdom here is to understand the nature of this fleeting joy. Recognize that while material things can be useful and enjoyable, they are not the key to lasting satisfaction. True contentment comes from cultivating inner qualities like kindness, compassion, and wisdom. Investing in experiences, relationships, and personal growth often brings more lasting happiness than accumulating material possessions. This isn't to say that having things is inherently bad, but it's about understanding their limitations in providing true and lasting fulfillment. Satisfaction is sought externally rather than internally. We often look outside ourselves for happiness. We think that if we get that promotion, find the perfect partner, or achieve a certain level of success, then we will finally be satisfied. We place conditions on our happiness, believing that external circumstances need to be a certain way for us to feel content. However, life is full of changes and uncertainties. External circumstances are constantly shifting. If our happiness depends on these external factors, we will always be vulnerable to disappointment and dissatisfaction. The wisdom here is to understand that true and lasting satisfaction comes from within. It's not about what we have or what we achieve. It's about our inner state of being. We can cultivate inner peace and contentment regardless of our external circumstances. This involves practices like mindfulness, meditation, and self-reflection. By training our minds to be present and accepting, we can find a sense of calm and satisfaction even amidst challenges. Learning to look inward for happiness empowers us because it puts us in control of our own well-being, rather than being at the mercy of external events. Expectations are frequently too high or unrealistic. Think about a goal you've set for yourself. Perhaps you envisioned achieving it in a certain way or within a specific time frame. When reality doesn't quite match up to your expectations, it can lead to feelings of frustration and disappointment. Often, our expectations are based on idealized scenarios or comparisons with others, rather than a realistic assessment of the situation. When our expectations are too high or unrealistic, we set ourselves up for dissatisfaction. The wisdom here is to cultivate realistic expectations. This doesn't mean lowering our standards or giving up on our dreams. It means understanding that life is messy and things don't always go according to plan. It involves being flexible, adaptable, and accepting of imperfections. When we approach life with a more realistic perspective, we are less likely to be disappointed when things don't turn out exactly as we imagined. This allows us to appreciate the good things that do happen and to navigate challenges with greater resilience and a more positive outlook. Letting go of rigid expectations can free us from a lot of unnecessary suffering and pave the way for greater contentment. There's always a desire for something more. It's human nature to want things. We set goals, strive for improvement, and have aspirations for the future. This drive can be a powerful motivator for growth and progress. However, when this desire becomes a constant craving, an insatiable hunger for something more, it can lead to perpetual dissatisfaction. Even when we achieve something we once desired, the feeling of fulfillment is often temporary. Soon, our minds latch on to the next thing we want, creating a cycle of endless wanting. The wisdom here is to understand the nature of desire. Recognize that while some desires are healthy and can drive us forward, excessive and uncontrolled desires can be a source of suffering. It's about finding a balance. We can still have goals and aspirations, but we don't need to be constantly consumed by them. Learning to appreciate what we have in the present moment, rather than always focusing on what we lack, can help break this cycle of wanting. Cultivating contentment with what we have doesn't mean giving up on growth. It means finding peace and satisfaction along the way. Gratitude for what they have is often missing. In our constant pursuit of more, it's easy to overlook what we already have. We focus on the things we lack, the things we want, and the things we haven't achieved. This can lead to a sense of scarcity and dissatisfaction, even when we have many blessings in our lives. The wisdom here is to cultivate gratitude, taking the time to appreciate the good things in our lives, both big and small, can significantly shift our perspective. It helps us recognize the abundance that is already present. Practicing gratitude can be as simple as taking a few moments each day to think about the things we are thankful for: our health, our relationships, our opportunities. This simple practice can rewire our brains to focus on the positive, fostering a greater sense of contentment and well-being. When we appreciate what we have, we are less likely to be consumed by the desire for more. Gratitude helps us find joy in the present and recognize the richness that already exists in our lives. The present moment is often overlooked. Our minds often dwell on the past or worry about the future. We might ruminate on past mistakes or anxieties about what might happen tomorrow. This constant mental chatter pulls us away from the present moment, the only moment we truly have. When we are not fully present, we miss out on the richness and beauty of our current experience. We might be going through a pleasant moment, but our minds are elsewhere, preventing us from fully enjoying it. The wisdom here is to cultivate present moment awareness. This involves bringing our attention to the here and now without judgment. Practices like mindfulness meditation can help us train our minds to stay present. By focusing on our breath, our senses, or our current activity, we can learn to anchor ourselves in the present. When we are fully present, we can appreciate the small joys of everyday life and experience a deeper sense of peace and contentment. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only moment we can truly live is now. Learning to be present is a powerful key to unlocking lasting satisfaction. The reasons why lasting satisfaction often eludes us are complex, but understanding these patterns is the first step towards breaking free. By recognizing our tendency to adapt quickly, compare ourselves to others, seek fleeting joy in material possessions, and look externally for happiness, we can begin to shift our perspective. Cultivating realistic expectations, understanding the nature of desire, practicing gratitude, and embracing the present moment are all powerful tools that can guide us towards a more content and fulfilling life. These aren't quick fixes, but rather ongoing practices that require patience and self-awareness. The journey towards inner peace and satisfaction is a personal one, and every small step we take in this direction can make a profound difference in our overall well-being. Remember, True and lasting happiness is not about having more, but about appreciating what we have and cultivating a peaceful and accepting state of mind.